a dramatic new geopolitical move from the Islamic Republic of Iran in the Strait of Hormuz amid war with United States. Iran's Revolutionary Guard is now offering what appears to be a strategic incentive to countries willing to distance themselves from the United States and Israel. The message is tied to one of the world's most critical energy lifelines, the Strait of Hormuz. And analysts say the signal from Tehran may be aimed directly at America's Arab partners in the region. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, has issued a statement suggesting that countries cutting diplomatic ties with Israel and the United States could receive unrestricted passage through the Strait of Hormuz. According to Iranian state media, the Guard said that any Arab or European nation expelling Israeli and American ambassadors would be granted what it described as full authority and freedom to transit the strait beginning the following day. The message appears to be more than a maritime warning. It signals a broader attempt by Tehran to use control over a critical global energy choke point as political leverage. The Strait of Hormuz sits between Iran and the coasts of the United Arab Emirates and Oman, and serves as the main gateway for oil exports leaving the Persian Gulf. Roughly 1/5 of the world's seaborne oil passes through the narrow waterway every day. Because of that, any disruption or preferential access to the strait could have enormous consequences for global energy markets and regional power dynamics. By linking safe transit through Hormuz to diplomatic decisions, Tehran appears to be sending a calculated message to governments across the Middle East. Several of those governments are close military partners of Washington, but also depend heavily on stable oil shipping routes through the Gulf. The IRGC statement therefore raises the possibility that Iran is trying to create a political wedge between the United States and some of its regional allies. If countries believe their energy exports or maritime security depend on Tehran's decisions in Hormuz, the calculation of regional alliances could become more complicated. The message comes amid a widening confrontation between Iran and the United States following military operations launched by Washington and Israel against Iranian targets. U.S. President Donald Trump has defended those operations, arguing that they were necessary to dismantle Iran's missile and drone capabilities. But Trump has also issued stark warnings about the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. president said Washington could move to take control of the strategic waterway if Iran attempts to interfere with global oil shipments. In a social media post, Trump warned that if Iran disrupts the flow of oil through the strait, the United States would respond with force 20 times harder than previous strikes.
But when the time comes, the U.S. Navy and its partners will escort tankers through the strait if needed. I hope it's not going to be needed, but if it's needed, we'll escort them right through. And we have the greatest mine-sweeping ability. We have the greatest ships, and we know exactly where they're placed. We'll get them out of there very fast, but we hope we don't have any of that. And again, if they do that, if they play that game, we're going to hit them at a level that they have not seen before. So we're winning very decisively. We're way ahead of schedule. Our military is the greatest in the world, with the greatest equipment and the greatest people in the world. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Iran's a very powerful country. They were going to take over the Middle East. If we did not hit them, they were going to take over the Middle East. They had thousands and thousands. Since their last hit, they had thousands and thousands of missiles and everything else. Most are now destroyed. But they were going to take over the Middle East. Those weapons were aimed at Middle Eastern countries that had nothing to do with this. They were going to take over the Middle East, and they were going to try and destroy Israel. So we stopped it with good timing, and we're very proud to be involved in this, and it's going to be ended soon. And if it starts up again, they'll be hit even harder.
The U.S. president said U.S. will lower the oil and gas prices after its little excursion in Iran.
we're putting an end to all of this threat once and for all, and the result will be lower oil prices, oil and gas prices for American families. We've done that. We've done it. We brought it very low. This was just an excursion into something that had to be done. We're getting very close to finishing that, too. In the meantime, during this brief disruption, the United States is offering political risk insurance to any tankers operating in the Gulf. So we're putting up risk insurance. We'll perhaps go alongside of them for protection. We don't think it'll be necessary if it is. And if they do anything, the price will be incalculable.
The tension is already being felt in global markets. Oil prices briefly surged to their highest levels since 2022 as fears grew that shipping through the vital corridor could be threatened. Commercial tanker traffic through the strait has slowed sharply amid rising attacks near the waterway. Iranian drones and missiles have also targeted oil and gas infrastructure across the region. Attacks on merchant vessels operating near the strait have killed at least 7 mariners, according to the International Maritime Organization. The escalating confrontation means the Strait of Hormuz is once again at the center of a major geopolitical contest.
The Strait of Hormuz, a crucial narrow key trade route connecting the Persian Gulf with the Arabian Sea, is on fire. Iran's semi-official Tasnim news agency reported that a Malta-flagged tanker near Strait of Hormuz was attacked by the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, IRGC, early on March 7th. The oil tanker, Prima, was sailing in the Gulf when a drone hit the vessel. According to Tasnim News, the attack on the oil ship happened after it ignored repeated warnings from the IRGC Navy regarding the prohibition of traffic and the unsafe nature of the Strait of Hormuz. According to the marine traffic website, Prima is an oil and chemical tanker sailing under the flag of Malta. Reuters reported that at least 8 vessels have been hit in the area since the Iran conflict began on February 28th. On March 4th, another Maltese-flagged container ship, Safine Prestige, was damaged by a projectile as it sailed towards the top of the Strait of Hormuz. The British Navy agency, UKMTO, reported it had received a report involving an unnamed container ship being hit by an unknown projectile, and the crew abandoned the vessel with no reported injuries. Similarly, on March 2nd, the IRGC said a fuel tanker, identified as the Honduran-flagged 8th Nova, burned in the Strait of Hormuz after being hit by 2 drones. Iranian media reports suggested that the vessel was providing fuel for U.S. Navy ships in the region. The strait is the world's most vital oil export route, connecting the biggest Gulf oil producers such as Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, and the United Arab Emirates with the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. According to Reuters estimates based on ship tracking data from the Marine Traffic Platform, at least 200 ships, including oil and liquefied natural gas tankers as well as cargo ships, remained at anchor in open waters off the coast of major Gulf producers, including Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. Hundreds of other vessels remained outside Hormuz, unable to reach ports, shipping data showed. The waterway is a key artery for around a fifth of the world's oil and LNG supply. Meanwhile, Iranian officials mock remarks by U.S. President Donald Trump on Tehran's surrender and role in choosing next leader. Abbas Aslani, a senior research fellow at the Center for Middle East Strategic Studies, told Al Jazeera that Trump's demands that Iran surrender and that he has a role in choosing Iran's next leader have been met with a posture of absolute refusal.
There are 2 parallel but 2 totally different, passes which is going on. The one belongs to the Israeli regime, which is exercising maximum edge over other countries, in which that greater Israel is happening. And you see that. And they would like to, and Americans have joined them actually in their policy of changing the political structure of Iran. By the way, you have to know that President Trump is asking for change in the leadership of Iran, and he says that I have to have voice on that, while he cannot appoint even the mayor of New York. Can you imagine this colonial approach, that he would like to see democracy at home, but he would like to topple down a democratically elected president of Iran and assassinating other countries? So this is the path that they are going, and this is the heroic, resistance that we are doing. And the other path is inclusion. Maybe you need to know a piece of information that you didn't know. Parallel to our discussion and negotiation in Geneva with the United States, by which they were just attending with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, and no expert on nuclear, nuanced, complicated issue. And you have to ask why, when you are going to talk about such a nuanced issue, why they are coming with two and staying 1, 2, or 3 hours, at most 7 hours. But anyway, they were a parallel, path, which was between Iran, Oman, Qatar, and the other countries in the Persian Gulf, to have an inclusive dialogue happening at the same time. The second one was not announced, but now I am revealing that. And Americans and Israelis just spoiled that. And we do believe that Israelis, because they knew it is happening, they rushed into dragging everybody into this war. Our friends in Oman knows that, and our friends in the GCC knows that.